Let's start with the chapter Indian Development Experience from 1947 to 1990. In this chapter, we are going to read Industrial Policy Resolution 1956, Small Scale Industries SSI Role and Importance, and Foreign Trade. So, let's start the chapter. Role of industrial sector in India. As we know, that the industrialization is important for overall growth of a country. So the following points are going to highlight the importance of industry in an economy or in our country. So first, the industry will provide employment to the citizens of a country. Second, it raises national income. Third, it promotes regional balances. Fourth, industries leads to modernization. Fifth, industries help to modernize agriculture. Sixth, industries lead to self-sustainable development. 7. Industries have high potential for growth. 8. Industries are the key to high volume of export, like China. 9. Growth of civilization. Industries are going to develop the civilization throughout the past of human civilization. 10. Change in basic structure of a economy. The agriculture-based economy is turned into a industrial economy with the help of industries. 8. Source of employment. 12th, imparts dynamism to growth process. So finally, we can conclude that industrialization is a precondition for the final take of an economy. So we moves to the industrial development since independence. It means it dealing about the industrial development since independence of our country or from year 1947. Share of industrial sector in GDP has increased up to 20% in 2013-14. So the following important changes have taken place from the independence or the year 1947. First change is development of infrastructure like power transport, communication, banking and finance, qualified and skilled human resources are developed. Second, much progress in field of research and development. Our country is making so many research and development in various sectors of economy. Third, expansion of public sector. Public sector is expanding to its largest share in economy. Fourth, building up of capital good industry. From 1947, we are building our capital good industry, which which is totally import based before 1947. Fifth, growth of non-essential consumer goods industry. It also developed in our country, non-essential consumer goods. So this is the development from independence to 1990 or 1991. So the next phase is problems of industrial development in India. In this, we are going to discuss the problems of industrial development in our country. First is sectoral imbalances. Agriculture and infrastructure have failed to provide the support to industrial sector. It means one sector is highly developed and other are not equally developed during the planning phase, or the both sector agriculture and infrastructure have failed to provide the support to industrial sector. Second, regional imbalances restrict to few states. It means the industrial development is carried out in some states of our country, not in the entire country. Third is industrial sickness, which raise the problem of unemployment. The sick industries which are not performing up to the mark causes the problem of unemployment. Fourth, the higher cost of industrial product due to lack of healthy competition. The price of output or the cost of production is very high due to lack of competition. As we know, as we know, in the planning period, there is much emphasis is is on public sector enterprises. So they are not making any competition in their sectors. So it have higher cost of production in comparison of international prices. Fifth, dependence on the government for reduction in tax or duty to make import easier. The industries are fully developed, fully dependent over the government to make their imports. So this this create the dependency of firms or public sector enterprises over the government. Six, poor performance of public sector. Seven, underutilization of capacity. The industrial sector are not uh, not producing on its full capacity during this period. Eight, increasing capital output ratio. This is also related to production cost. It means capital output ratio is increased. We required more amount of capital for producing less amount of goods. 8. So these are the problems of industrial development in India. So next we have role of public sector and government enterprises in industrial development. Direct intervention of the state was considered essential in view of following factors. Lack of capital with private entrepreneurs. So before 1990, the private entrepreneur have lack of capital. So the role of public sector undertakings are much wider than the private sector. Lack of incentive among the private entrepreneur demand due to limited size of the market. In this time, the size of market for private enterprises is limited, so they are not in position to carry out economic activities in that particular market. Third, socialist pattern of society. Main aim of government is to generate employment rather than profit. So the socialist pattern will motivate the government or public sector enterprises for working for social welfare in respect of rather than profits. Fourth is development of infrastructures. Fifth is development of backward areas. So on the both hand, development of infrastructure, development of backward area, the public sector undertakings or public sector companies are working in these aspects to prevent concentration of economic power. Government wants to prevent the concentration of economic power on a particular in a particular area. So they are they are uh, restrict the role of private sector in the production activities to promote import substitution. This is the trade policy which is practicing over the period of time from 1950 to 1990 especially. So we are going to discuss this in in elaborated form in next concepts. So this is the Industrial Policy Resolution IPR 1956. In starting, we are stating this is a part of our curriculum IPR. In short, this is called IPR 1956. Industrial policy is an important instrument through which the government regulates the industrial activity in an economy. The 1956 resolution laid down the following objective of industrial policy. First, these are the objectives: to accelerate the growth of industrialization. First, Second, to develop heavy industries. Third, to expand public sector. Fourth, to reduce disparities in income and wealth. These are the objectives. And the fifth and last, to prevent monopoly and concentration of wealth and income in the hands of a small members of individuals. These are the objectives. So we are moved to the features. Features of IBR of 1956. This is important for your objective part. New classification of industries. Industries were classified into three schedules depending upon role of state. Schedule A, 17 industry listed in the Schedule A who, whose future development would be responsibility of state. It is totally reserved for the state or state-owned industries. Schedule B, 12 industries were included in Schedule B. Private sector could supplement the effect of the public sector with the state taking sole responsibility of starting new unit. It means the private sector have the secondary role in productive activities. It can supplement the private public sector undertakings in Schedule B. And the rest Schedule C, other residual industry were left open to private sector. So the major industries are covered in Schedule A or Schedule B, which is controlled by or which is exclusively reserved by the state or state-owned industries. Second, stress on the role of cottage and small-scale industries. So it also includes the stress on the role of cottage and small-scale industries. Third, initial licensing. Industries in private sector could be established only through a license from the government. This is the important policy. This is the important about this policy. Later on, this is known as license Raj in Indian economic planning. Fourth, industrial concession were offered. Private entrepreneurs for stabilizing industry in the backward regions of country, such as tax rebate and the concessional rate of power supply will be provided or offered for some private entrepreneurs. So our next topic is small scale industry. A small scale industry is presently defined as the one invest whose investment does not exceed rupees 5 crore in the plant and machinery. So any industry which have invested rupees up which have invested up to rupees 5 crore in its plant is called small scale industry or SSI. So the characteristics of SSI or the role of small scale industry are: first, it is labor intensive or employment oriented. It means it required more amount of labor to carry its productive activities. So it generate a huge amount of employment in our country. Second, it is the nature of SSI is also based on self-employment. It means self-employment persons will also working in these types of small scale industry, or their working is also classified under small scale industry. If an artist making some handicraft on its own, it is also covered in small scale industry. Third is it is less capital intensive. As we described earlier, that it is required more labor in comparison of capital. So it requires less capital, more labor. Fourth, it is export oriented also. It can promote export in our country. Fifth, seedbed of large scale industries. Many of the large industries in our country was started their business or industry from a small scale industry, and from SSI at present they are large scale industry. Six, it shows location flexibility. It is location flexible. It does not require any particular location to operate, but various large-scale industry have have operated only on the particular location from where from there they can get the raw material and transportation, etc. So these are the roles. So a small scale industry having some problem also. First is difficulty of finance. Generally they are covered in unorganized sector. It means they are working with very few number of workers. It means it is generally it is below 20, so they are not covered in organized sector, or due to unorganized sector they are face difficulty for getting finance from various institutions. Second, they also face shortage of raw material because their working nature or their working capacity is quite low in comparison of large scale industry. So they generally faces the problem or shortage of raw material. Third, difficulty of marketing, as they their their nature is small and they have less resources, so they are not in position to making marketing for their products. Second, at present they are using the outdated machines and equipment due to lack of finance. So it creates creates the problem of quality of a product and the standardization of product. Fifth, they facing the competition from large scale industry at present, because in a particular sector the SSI and the large scale industry both are competing. So these are the problem of industry. So the third important concept of this chapter is foreign trade. As we know that we studied the foreign trade at the time of independence in our first chapter. So this information is carried out or derived from that chapter. At the time of independence, raw material was exported from India to Britain in abundance. On the other hand, finished goods from British were imported into India. Notably, our balance of trade was favorable. It means our export is greater than import. After independence, India's foreign trade recorded a noticeable change, such as after independence, there is some change in foreign trade. First is decline in percentage of share of agriculture export. It means we are going to export other things, well, other than agriculture export. We are exporting some goods and services which are different from agriculture. Second, increase in percentage of share of manufactured goods in total export. It means after the independence, we are exporting the manufacturing goods also, or it is increased in percentage. The, the share of these types of goods are increased. Third, change in direction of export, trade and import. Both export and import trade directions are changed. Decline of Britain as main trading partner. Up to the independence, the British or Britain is a major trading partner. But after 1947, the Britain loses its position in trade. So we are moving on trade policy. In the first 7 5-year plans of India, the trade was commonly called as inward-looking trade strategy. It means in seven up to the 7 5-year plan, we are practicing a tra- trade policy which is known as inward-looking trade policy. This strategy is technically known as import substitution. This word is also comes before in our study. Import substitution means substituting import with domestic production. It means the things or the goods and services, especially in case of goods, we are importing Rather than importing of these goods, we are going to manufacturing the same good within our country by using own resources. This is called import substitution. Imports were protected by imposition of tariff and quotas which protect the domestic firm from foreign competition. Impact of inward-looking trade strategy on domestic trade. It means or the we can we was imposed or government of India imposed the tariffs and quotas on import also for protecting our domestic countries. If the other um, if the goods and services are not coming from the rest of the world from international market to our country in form of import, our domestic companies are producing or charging their own price without facing any competition. So we can by this by imposing these type of tariffs and quotas, we are protecting our farm. Or at the same side, we are also doing import substitution. Rather the importing a good from the international market from other country, we are going to manufacture the same good with our resources in our country. So w- so we are going to discuss the impact of these types of strategy or income inward looking strategy or import substitution. First, it helped to save foreign exchange by reducing import of goods. First, if we are not importing things, goods, and we are going to manufacturing the same imported commodity within the country, we have to save a huge amount of i- foreign exchange in for our country. Second, created a protected market and large demand for domestic produced goods. It means by imposing tariff and quotas or by imposing tax on import, we are protecting our market and and create a large market for the domestic companies which are going to sell their product in domestic market without any competition. Third, help to build a strong industrial base in our country will directly lead to economic growth. By import substitution, we are going to manufacture or build a imported good in our country. For this, we are establishing more industries, so it lead to a strong industrial base in our country. But this is the positive side. So we have negative side also. This is the criticism of import substituting strategy. For it did not it did not lead to growth. It generally not lead or finally get the growth of a country because by by import substitution we can produce the imported good within the country, but we are not producing as cheap as it is imported. So this is the wastage of resources. Second, lack of competition implant lack of modernization. Without competition in domestic market, we not modernize our industry. So by import substitution, we protect our industries from international competition. So it is not lead to modernization of Indian economy. Third, growth of inefficient public monopolies. It means if we protect our companies, they are totally inefficient in their productive operations, or it generally create only monopolies. Fourth, it did not lead to efficiency. If there is no competition, so the firms or the public sector undertaking or the companies which are only operated in domestic area without any competition have have not a proper efficiency of production. So these are the problems of criticism. So we are moving to industrial licensing, which is the important part of IPR 1956. Licensing is the tool of channelizing scarce resource in predetermined priority sector of an economy. This is introduces in IPR Industrial Policy Regulation of 1956, in which government mandatory the industrial license for each and every enterprises who are willing to produce goods and services in Indian economy. So it Indian economy. So this is generally known as permit license Raj. License Raj refers to regulation accompanying bureaucracy that were required to set up and run Indian businesses in India between 1951 to 1991. As we discussed, the government restored to licensing system so that it can be maintained control over industries as per Industrial Development and Regulation Act 1951. It means government wants control over the industries to better development or proper development of country industrial system. Country's industrial system. Example: Indian automobile sector is the most suitable to recall the heydays of license Raj. In those days, many student out of you heard about these brand, but if you not know about these brand, you can check on internet and some other sources, so you can easily find out the brands. So in those days, only few brands such as Bajaj, Rajdoot of Escorts, Vespa of Bajaj later, Chetak of Bajaj, Lambretta, etc. existed. It is about the scooter industry in India. These are the companies who are manufacturing scooters, Rajdoot, Escort scooters or motorbike. Bajaj was the market leader and its Chetak brand was so popular that people used to book it and wait for month to get it delivered. The reason was the industrial licensing stipulated what quantity of scooter they could produce, and also they could produce only up to 20% in excess of its license capacity. If they want to expand beyond this, they need to pay a permission. It means for producing an good, the industry or the owner of the industry will require to get license for industrial production. Second, if he want to expand its production, he also wants a license to expand. So, in overall terms, the entire industrial sector was bound into license on the every stage, on the every part of production activity. The industrialist or the owner of the firm will was was get license from government. So this is an example of license Raj. Analysis of the licensing policy. The government had pursued the licensing policy to allocate the production target set out in the 5-year plan to the firms. The state objective of policy were as follow. These are the objective of licensing policy: to regulate the industrial sector, to emphasize on the balanced regional development. Third, to encourage small scale industry. Fourth, to encourage the new entrepreneur to set up industry. But the bureaucratic red tape imposed substantial administrative burden, and there was no certainty that an application for a license would be approved within or in what time frame. More than one third application were rejected, which means a loss of investment. This is a big hurdle of rapid interconnection. This is the scenario of that particular time, 1950 to 1991, for some private entrepreneurs. So we move to the second important topic of your curriculum. It is small scale industry. We are earlier read this in IPR 1956. So first we are going to explain what is SSI. Small scale industry is presently defined as the one whose investment does not exceed not exceed rupees 5 crores. It means in this in this the industries are covered which have investment of rupees 5 crore or up to 5 crore. So characteristics of SSI and the role of small scale industries. These industries are labor intensive or employment oriented. It means it have it required more labor in comparison of capital. So it generate a big amount of employment in our economy or our company. Second, it is second important point about this SSI is self-employment. These type of industries are provide employment for artisans and artists which are self-employed. So third, less capital intensive. As we discussed earlier, it is less capital intensive. For export promotion, it it can be used in the export of a country, or we, we are using these SSI in our exports of for various goods. Seed Fifth is seed beds for large scale industry. This is the foundation of a large industry. Many of the large industries starts their business from SSI in form of SSI, and later on they are developed as large scale industries like various companies MDH. 6. Show location flexibility. The most important part of this SSI is it is location flexible. It does not require any specific location to operate like other big industries like steel plant. They are only established in the area of raw material used in that particular type of plants. So these are the characteristics and the role of small scale industry in our economy. So later on, so so this is the role, and we have some problem of small scale industry. First is difficulty to finance because they are not in a proper organization, or generally we can say that they generally are in the unorganized sector. So for financial institution, this is very difficult to provide some finance to the unorganized sector firms which is working as small scale industry. So this is the first aspect. They get they face difficulty in the finance for their industries. Second, shortage of raw material. As their nature is small, so they are oftenly they are not getting the short raw material on the requirement on the requirement of required level. Third is difficulty in of marketing. As we know, the small firms having the difficulty of marketing also. They are not able to market their product in the market due to financial and some administrative problems. Fourth, outdated machine and equipment. They are presently working with the outdated machines and equipment which they are using late from the last 30 to 40 years. So this is create the problem for the standardization of product and the quality of the product. Fifth is the competition from large scale industries. So as in in a particular sector, both small scale industry and scale industry are working. So it face a big competition from the large scale industries. So we move to the third important aspect or concept of this topic, which is foreign trade. At the time of independence, raw material was exported from India to Britain in abundance. On the other hand, finished goods from British were imported into India. This is this is the important economic economical situation uh, of the India, which which generally we are going to study in our previous chapters. So notably, our balance of trade was favorable. Export is greater than imports. After independence, Indian foreign trade recorded a noticeable change, such as it means in first chapter, the Indian economy at the eve of independence. We discussed this. At the time of independence, we have we have pure importer of agriculture goods and importer of finished good and exporter of pure agriculture goods. So balance of trade is in favor at the time of independence. After that, the direction of foreign trade is changed. First, decline in percentage share of agriculture export. Second, increase in percentage share of manufactured goods in total export. Third, change in direction of exports trade and import trade. It means fourth, decline of Britain as main trading partner. This is criticism against industrial licensing. So there was an ad hoc system for accepting or rejecting an application for license. It means there is not a appropriate system for rejecting and accepting a application. Second is the quality of techno-economical examination conducted by Director General of Technical Development was generally poor. It means the technical examination done by the agency for getting industrial license was poor. Third, licensing policy resulted in underutilization capacity of many industries. By license, the industries are working in the less capacity as they have, because they are not getting license for full utilization of their capacities. 4. In reality, the policing helped large business houses in accumulating economic power. Or, in conclusion, these types of policies are a, uh, in, creates profit for large business houses in in comparison of small scale industries or small business houses. So this is all about the chapter IPR. In this, we are discussing IPR 1956, SSI, and foreign trade. So, in last, there is the exercise for this chapter.